Hello everyone, welcome to the Jargus Ranger Review. And this week we'll be looking at the 4th episode of Super Megaforce, Alliance. Now ain't that a tongue twister right there. And now this one returns to the standard formula of episode that we had back in Megaforce. Now most unusually, we actually start out with a Megazord battle. Rangers are just showing off their powers from a Mystic Force and the SPD legendary Megazords, and just destroying a bunch of grunts, bruisers and X-Boars. No actual monsters this time. So without wasting any time, we start out with the Rangers just kicking some ass. And when they're done, they're in the command center, and Gosei saying how proud he is, but Rangers comment that they're only holding them off and not really doing anything to stop the Armada. And Gosei agrees, and he tells them there's a new ally for them in Anamaria, in the Flying Island. Now any veteran of the series would recognize that this is Wild Force, where those Rangers stayed. And Noah already knows what it is because he researched it, and that's a wild lion. So they're flying around the skies of the planet in the skyship looking for it, with Jake still has his eyes on Gia, though she does seem to be warming up on him just by their little facial expressions. And Emma knows a turtle-shaped cloud that they passed through several times that never changed its shape. So they figure out, yeah, that is it. But they're being attacked by the Armada. And so they try attacking them, and they end up crash landing on the floating island, along with a handful of X-Boards. And Levera and the other guy with her, forget his name, says that General Peluso will take care of them. So after fending off the attack, they split up to find the Red Lion. Noah senses that something is watching them. But our monster of the week, General Peluso, shows up and attacks the Rangers with a few grunts of his own. So the Rangers start out by using the legendary Black Rangers. That'll be a Dino Thunder, Alien, and RPM. And when taking the fight more straight to him, they go into a Wild Force mode. Fitting for the episode. But midst of it, the Red Lion shows up and roars. It was either Troy or Noah, but they say, he's real, he exists. What, you found a floating island and you couldn't believe that the Red Lion was there? Especially since Gosei sent you to find it? Come on man, think. And with one slash of his claws, all of them get knocked off the island. Both Ranger and enemy alike. So the Rangers end up falling down onto a bunch of boxes. How convenient. But then the Prince Vekar walks in. And he gets upset that they're sending out orders without him. Without his authorization. That don't waste time on a single line, focus on the invasion. So because of that, the remaining troops start attacking civilians. So the Rangers have to go and defend that. But Noah still feels the Lion's presence. And so finally there's just one small group of them left, made up of Peluso and a few bruisers. And so to take it out in style, they all become the Wild Force Rangers and defeat them. They used a Jungle Sword Savage Slash, the Wild Force Rangers' finishing move to destroy the bruisers, because Peluso used them as a shield. But before he can make a counterattack, the Regulus Megaforce forms use their finish strike to destroy him. Of course, since the leaders at the Armada are watching now, he's quickly made into a giant, along with his bruisers. But before the legendary Megazord can attack or change its mode or anything, he puts a jam on it when they try using the cannons. And then his minions come and restrain it, so they have no way of fighting back. That is until the Wild Force Ranger keys glow, and the Red Lion comes down from the Anamaria and frees the Megazord. And it combines with the legendary Megazord. Pretty much the lion becomes its legs. And so now the Megazord can move and attack at a much higher speed. Of course, the robotic bruisers turn themselves into motorcycles and come at the Megazord. So yes, the final battle of this episode is a robot battle on motorcycles. At least there are no card games involved this time. So this finish strike this time is a bit underwhelming. Caught the Megaforce, and the lion just charges at the enemy and attacks it, while the Rangers slash it with the two swords and destroys the enemy. So back on the skyship, Jake comments he's glad it's not staying with him because they need a very big litter box. So yeah, it ends with him trying to be humorous once again. And then it ends off just pretty quickly. Overall, this episode was okay. I mean, it starts out different, which grabs your attention. And there was a real missed opportunity here for some more Wild Force references. Because really, it was just a location in the Zord that showed up. And you could have had one of the Wild Force Rangers make a comment. I mean, Merrick's been wandering around. He could have shown up and said something. Or who knows, a commotion could have woken up Princess Shayla. But instead it was just a nice change of scenery. Though according to a quick search I did, the voice actor for General Peluso was also the Colonel in RPM as well as Zeltrex in Dino Thunder. Maybe that's why they became those Black Rangers. And there really wasn't much clever in dialogue here either. But that was a pretty decent twist to keep the action from getting stale when the focus went away from the Animarium and instead to the civilians. Legendary Wild Force sword actually looks pretty cool. But really, there wasn't much to this episode except a lot of fighting. Except for a couple minutes when they were trying to find it. So I like the last episode and the first two of the season much better than this one. Wasn't a bad episode, but there wasn't much special to it either. At least this time for once they had to work for one of the power-ups, instead of Ghostly just saying, hey, you have this new power now, try it out. So hopefully we'll see an improvement next time. And it just ended really quickly after the battle. And that's something I'm not liking. It helps the episode to even off its conclusion to have a little bit of an epilogue instead of like 2 seconds of banter and bye, that's it. Because even while they were doing that, they were already showing the credits overlaid on the screen. Now I'm really hoping that don't become a trend for this season. Because it started out so well. But this is getting closer to the mediocrity that we had in the past season of Megaforce. But we'll have to find out if they improve things next time. Until then, I'm Jargus. Thanks for watching. And until we meet again, may the power protect you.